in the seerah. The day we spoke about the construction of Masjid al-Nabawi alayhi salatu wasalam, I don't think anybody would probably know or remember at least now what I'm talking about. But that day after me, when Imam Muhammad recited the Holy Quran, does anybody, I don't think you'll recollect or recall, does anybody remember who he recited like? I hope he remembers himself, but I'll tell you. He recited like Hudayfi, who is the Imam of Masjid. Now you remember after I said his name. Brother, brother. That was the only day he recited very precisely, like, I'm going to meet you outside. I'm joking. I'm joking. It's right. He does. He does. He recites like Shuraim, by the way. He recites like Shuraim. Some days he recites like Sudais. I don't know if you guys, mashallah, these are the OGs. Now we have the Bandar Balilas and the Mahir Muayqalis, who are also spectacular. If you hear them live, Allahu Akbar. Being in the Haram is one, and then these guys are actually something. Anyways, so there was also another relation recently, but anyways, I remember that one. So does Dr. Iftikhar. But yeah, today, so this is the next episode in the seed of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yesterday we spoke about the Battle of Badr. The Battle of Badr, by the way, is very interesting. I hope we all know what happened in Badr, because sometimes we feel what is an inferior complex. We're taken aback, and we're, the glamour and the pomp of the people of this world. We forget who we are. We forget what we accomplished. And we're the same. The Allah that helped the Muslims accomplish Badr is the same Allah that's going to hopefully, inshallah, soon bring victory to the Muslims. Allah hasn't changed. We've changed, unfortunately. So anyways, we need to remember these people were ours. They were like Khalid bin Walid, whose name we're going to take now, but in a different context. Like Umar bin Khattab was ours, and Hamza was ours, Abu Bakr was ours, Sa'ad bin Mu'adh was ours, versus all of these rappers and all of these pop stars and all of these singers. Wallahi, they're not ours. Even if they were supposed to be ours, I shouldn't take his name like DJ Khalid. He's not ours, unfortunately. I hate to tell you this. I'm so sorry to say this, and I should not have taken anybody's name, but it's facts. We don't need them. Sadly, they are of no help or avail to us. Those who did everything, put their lives on the line for us, we don't know them. We don't. Sadly, we should know them, though. I'm praying to the same thing myself. Anyways, the third year after the Hijrah, in the month of Shawwal, precisely day 20th in Shawwal, the disbelievers, i.e. the Quraysh, they could not possibly fathom the fact that those that were termed or classified as dogs of the Arabian desert have now defeated them so badly, and that's it. They're just going to get away with it. How did these people who had nothing with which they could possibly even challenge us defeat us in war? This is very big. So the Quraysh want to come back, and they wait 1 year and they make preparations. And the following year, spearheaded by a great general, a great warrior, Abu Sufyan bin Harb, whose name we took in Badr as well. Again, on the side of the disbelievers. Abu Sufyan bin Harb, this time, it isn't just a request that he's making to Abu Jahl to prepare some people to make sure his caravan isn't intercepted by the Muslims. This time, they're going out to fight. They're going out to war. And they're going to do whatever it takes to try to wipe out the Muslims, the Prophet, ﷺ, and Islam. So they prepare an army. And this is a mighty army. For the numbers in those days, they are 3,000. 3,000 is the number of the disbelievers. And about 200 of them are cavaliers. And about 700 of them are armed soldiers. It's a huge army that the disbelievers put together to try to crush the Muslims. What did the Muslims prepare? The Prophet ﷺ prepared an army of 1,000. And he consulted with the Sahaba. He said, these disbelievers, they want to come to Medina and they want to go to war with us. What should we do? Should we stay in Medina, as was his opinion also? Should we stay in Medina, protect and defend Medina, or should we go out and attack the Muslims outside of Medina? There was a difference of opinion amongst the Sahaba. There's always been. It's perfectly fine. So some of the Sahaba, in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ, said, Ya Rasulullah, the elderly Sahaba, the more senior one said, we'll stay in Medina Munawwara, we'll protect our women, our children, the city, and make sure no harm is done, and we'll stay here. Let them come to Medina Munawwara itself. The youngsters from amongst them said, no. Ya Rasulullah, let us go out and meet them outside of Medina, and we'll deal with them there. The Prophet ﷺ liked this opinion, and naturally he's been inspired by Allah from above the heavens to go with this opinion, and so he did. The Prophet ﷺ would march, and with him is a group of 1,000. When this decision was made that we're going out, just not too far, a place called Uhud. We've all been to Uhud. For those of us who have gone for Umrah, one of our friends is there now. If you've gone for Umrah or Hajj, you've been to Uhud. The Prophet ﷺ said, Jabalun yuhibbuna wa nuhibbu, a mountain that loves us and we love it. Uhud is not one, but it's a range of mountains. And this is where the second great battle in the history of Islam is going to take place. 3,000 are the disbelievers. We started off with 1,000, but it just so happened that the Ra'is, the chief of the Munafiqs, the hypocrites, was also in the midst of the Muslim camp. And he started to say to those who were Munafiq, just like him, they were not Sahaba who left the ranks of the companions with the Prophet. A Sahabi would never do something. The 300 that he got to leave with him of 1,000, we were 1,000 to begin with, he just got 300 of them to leave the ranks of the Muslims. The Muslims are thus left with 700. Those munafiqeen left, and Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul is the wretched man's name. He too left. He left with them. Why are we going to go throw our lives into destruction? Why? No, we should have stayed in Medina. We don't agree with this. Anyways, no problem. The Prophet ﷺ marched out. How many now? 700. We're going to meet them in a place called Uhud. And when we do, they're 3,000 strong, and they've come to go to war. So the Prophet ﷺ gave instructions. He said, I'm going to appoint from amongst you 50 crack selected archers. This is the finest, the cream of the crop. Your job is to go guard a specific mountain pass in Mount Ruma. And under no circumstance are you to move from your spot. Whether you see the Muslims advance to collect the spoils of war, the captured enemy assets, the booty, whether you're advancing to collect, that's what it's called, or whether you see the rest of the Muslims fleeing from the battlefield, doesn't matter. You 50 have one job, and that's to guard this mountain pass, and that's it. Your leader over the 50 of you, Abdullah bin Jubair with a jeen, is Abdullah bin Jubair radiallahu anhu. Understood? Understood. So everything starts. The battle starts. In a very short little duration, period of time, it seemed like this was an imminent victory for the Muslims. And we got excited. And we started to celebrate too soon. And as we advanced to celebrate, those 50 supposed to be guarding the mountain pass, 40 of them left their position. Abdullah bin Jubair screamed at the top of his lungs. He begged and beseeched and implored them, please don't leave. We were given one instruction: do not disobey the command of the Prophet ﷺ at any cost. He said, whether we advance to collect or we flee, don't. We were supposed to. It's hard. Once you see the goody goodies, it's tough. And they started to advance. 10 of them stayed back. And the greatest general of all time, Khalid bin Walid, who's never lost a battle in his life, be it a Muslim or non-Muslim, he saw this opportunity, and boy, did he take advantage. He came from behind the mountain pass with his group of cavaliers and slaughtered every single one of those Sahaba. When this became the fate of the Muslims, everything changed. The tide of the entire battle changed. What was ours, Mus'ab bin Umayr radiallahu anhu was killed. I told you a week ago or more, he looked like the Prophet ﷺ, strikingly handsome. They killed him. They started to scream, we killed the Prophet. When a Sahabi in the thick of battle hears the rumor that the Prophet's been killed, you don't understand. Not my mom, not your dad, not your mom, not your dad, mean to us, frankly, with all due respect, what the Prophet ﷺ meant to the Sahaba. When they heard in the thick of battle that he's no more, oh, you can imagine. Their morale drops. Musa bin Umair radhiyallahu anhu, Shaheed. Hamza bin Abdul Muttalib, a man by the name of Wahshi ibn Harb, had been told by Jubair ibn Mut'im, if you go out tomorrow and kill that man, the uncle of the Prophet, oh, I free you. You're slavery, liberated. You're a free man. Hind, the wife of Abu Sufyan, came to him to couple that. And she said, listen, Wahshi, you finish him? All this jewelry, she was a very big, rich, wealthy woman. All this jewelry that I have on my person is yours. Just take care of that man. He was excellent with the lance. He found Hamza radiallahu anhu, of course, from the back. Couldn't attack him from the front. He saw him, he found him, unguarded, and he released his spear. Hamza radiallahu anhu was shaheed. Musab radiallahu anhu was shaheed. The Prophet ﷺ's helmet was struck. Two of his teeth were shaheed. His helmet, the links of the chain of his helmet got stuck in his Mubarak face. Uhud became a mess. Simply because one order, one command, one instruction was disobeyed. And ultimately, 70 of us, the Muslims, shaheed. They only lost 20 or so, but they started to scream that this was revenge for what you people did to us last year in Badr. We'll continue tomorrow.